Hello, NEWway is the emergency winter night shelter for those who find themselves homeless in Newham. We've been running for 5 years with the support of 17 host churches and hundreds of volunteers. The shelter works in partnership with churches in Newham. Each night of the week, a different church will host the shelter and open its doors to around 15 guests each evening. Over the last 5 years, we've had the pleasure of partnering with 17 different host churches.
I became homeless in 2016. I was actually a family man. I was living with my partner when we had a 6-year-old daughter, and it was an argument between me and the mother and a disagreement on parenting skills. It turned into her kicking me out, and that's how I became homeless and went up on the streets.
Well, what it was, I had a flat in Ipswich which was owned by a housing association. I had it for 13 years. I was working for 4.5 years and suddenly they put me onto a 0 hours contract. So I lost a lot of work. I just didn't work overnight for about 3 months. Hence the cumulative rent arrears. In the end, I lost it. I found myself homeless and penniless and pretty much on the street.
I was living in a council block, but my next door neighbour's daughter was heavily into drugs, and it got to the point where she was sending all her dealers and getting money off me. I decided enough was enough, and I made myself homeless, and I was basically using the night buses between Victoria and Walthamstow, probably 3 or 4 times a night, until I was picked up by a homeless unit and brought to Bonnie Downs.
I stayed in NEWway in 2014. They, gave me accommodation, and they also referred me on, and which was the start of a new life for me. Actually, it's very good.
Since 2013, we've welcomed 384 guests over 598 nights. That's 7,956 beds provided for rough sleepers and 15,912 meals served. NEWway has supported 123 guests into a new home and 89 into further temporary accommodation.
After a group of us had decided to launch a new night shelter in winter 2013-14, I was appointed as the project coordinator, and the first couple of weeks was going around to lots of church meetings, PCC meetings, had no idea what they were when I started, and trying to encourage people to get on boards.
I joined the NEWway team about 2 years ago, and I love that it felt like coming into a family, a really lovely warm family that was open and welcome to invite anybody that needed a home, that needed community, that needed shower, laundry, anything.
I think what I've loved about NEWway is definitely all of the night shelter stuff and the amazing churches that have joined, and the incredible volunteers that just give up not just their time but often their resources, those that cook and wash the bedding, and all of that is incredible. But I think what we developed that I didn't know at the time when we started is these kind of daytime services and this wraparound support.
The biggest thing for me is seeing that God has created this awesome family of people where anybody can come, and it's really open and easy to join in and feel like you're welcomed massively, and it's got such a feeling of warmth and love and joy, and we see lives changed all the time and we hear those stories, And I think that's what gives me such joy about being in NEWway, are those stories that we hear.
She said it all.
Johnny and Simone, the coordinators, were always on hand. They exchanged telephone numbers, so any slight problems or anything which can arise from being homeless, or from even being in a shelter where there's probably about 15-20 people there, so it become more like a friendship rather than an organisation just helping you out.
They didn't want me because I told them my story. They didn't believe. They say that you can go anywhere. I say, I don't know any person in London. I don't know where to go. I live in the street. I lose everything because I was very desperate, but when I met John showed me like you are not homeless, you are my friend, you can make a life, you are free. You show me another way. I have a new way in my heart.
Since I came to NEWway, I've had that opportunity to re-establish myself, and it's just been good, since then. So I really thank NEWway for giving me that opportunity, to actually bounce back. Let's put it that way. So it's quite interesting.
My experience of the shelter was fantastic. Johnny was great. My personal opinion is night shelters should be open all year round, especially for the older generation.
Within 5 days of me contacting them, they got me an emergency bed in a night shelter for 28 days, which enables me to pick myself up, try and find a route forward, and it also enables them to assess my needs and actually try to an inroad to try to find me accommodation. And that worked. Within the 28 days, they got me a temporary accommodation in a hostel, which I can stay there for up to 2 years.
I mean, I've left NEWway homes with a feeling that I've got to give back. You've got to give back. When you've experienced the love and it seems like the effortless hard work that they do, it seems effortless, but believe me, when you see Johnny burning around in his car and Simona absolutely tired, you know that they have put in their shift. The impact, what they do in such a short amount of time in my life, but it was the most crucial time in my life. If I was out there any longer, I could have been suicidal. I could have been back on drugs, I could have been in prison, it could have went any way for me. I can't put into words how they impacted my life, but all I know is that they did.
My message to the volunteer and the team of NEWway is very simple. Please continue the good work you are doing. God bless you all. Thank you.
Their support has been, well, unprecedented. I'm really overwhelmed. Every time I meet Johnny and Simone, I want to say thank you to them. It's just such an overwhelming experience.
Thank you to our amazing staff team. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Jessie. Thank you to our brilliant board of trustees. Thank you for all the time and the commitment that you give. Thank you to our host churches. Thank you to our host coordinators. Thank you to the amazing team of volunteers. You give yourself so generously. Thank you to our funders and to our supporters. But most of all, thank you to the 400 guests that have just allowed us to be part of their journeys, part of their lives, part of their stories. It's a real privilege.